When my colleague told me that we didn't have a video dedicated to the groanal response on our YouTube channel, I immediately couldn't believe it. I mean, I talk about groanal response daily. So stick around and let me tell you more about what groanal response really is and how it relates to OCD. Hi, everyone. Tracie here. For those of you who don't know me, I have OCD. I've had OCD since I was 4 years old. I am much older than that now, and I treat people with OCD. But let's get back to the video. A lot of people ask what is groanal response and why it happens and all of those different types of questions. So I'm really going to take some time to break it down here and talk about what it is. So let's start with what even is groanal response. Groanal response means any sort of feeling, change, tingle, reaction that happens in your groinal region or in your private parts or in whatever it is that you call your parts that tend to be used for urination and sexual purposes. So groanal response can be anything that has to do with that region. A filling, a swelling, it can be an erection. It can be any number of feelings that you have that happen. Now, a lot of people with OCD doesn't matter what your theme is of OCD, because OCD is just OCD, will experience this at some point. Not everybody, but a lot of people do. And what happens with OCD sufferers is they tend to give it meaning. Oh my gosh, let's just say with sexual orientation OCD. Maybe if I was, my OCD theme was, oh gosh, maybe I'm attracted to women, and maybe I'm really not in real life, but this is what OCD is telling me, and it's feeling very distressing. And maybe I'm out shopping and I see a woman and I get a groanal response of some sort, tingles, feelings, swelling, whatever it might be. And then OCD loves to take two puzzle pieces from different puzzles and put them together and say this is meaningful. So it might say something like, wow, you had a groanal response when looking at that woman, and therefore that means that you're sexually attracted to women. And so that is a really common way that will come up. But I've treated people who have groanal response when they see certain colors, or so many different types of reasons and ways that it can come up. People have it happen in pedophilic OCD. Oh no, I had a groanal response while I was carrying my baby around, something along those lines. So very normal, shows up. And I want to really explain what it is, because those two puzzle pieces do not go together. OCD is an ego dystonic disorder. That means it goes against the things that you actually value. So, for instance, let's say that I am attracted to men, but OCD says, no, you're attracted to women, and I have proof because you have a groanal response when you saw this woman. I can know that, hey, I know who I'm attracted to, and OCD is now saying something opposite of that information that I know about myself. And then it feels real and confusing because OCD is a doubting disorder. It makes us doubt what we think we know about ourselves and what we think we know about why our genitals react or don't react in certain times and ways. So I'm going to actually explain the science behind groanal response. There is something called ANC, or arousal non-concordance, and it goes two different ways. I'm going to give you the first example in how that is outside of OCD typically. So this is where you want to be, say, sexual towards somebody, or a certain thing, yes, I really like this thing. I want to be sexual, but your body is not responding. Your groinal area is not responding or in the way that you want it to in that time, because you are into the thing that you're trying to do at that moment. So that's arousal non-concordance. One part, it's like your mind is not connecting with your brain and your brain is not connecting with your mind in a way that you want it to. Now with OCD, it shows up with the flip side of arousal non-concordance. You can have a groinal response or a bodily reaction to something that you are not attracted to, that you do not find sexy or intriguing in any way. And that's really where it messes people up who have OCD and fear. This is real. This is what this means. And there's often some compulsions that have to do with groinal response. People will do things like, I'm going to look at something I don't like, see if I have a groinal response. And if I do, then it means that I do like that thing. So a lot of different ways groinal response ends up getting wrapped up in our OCD and compulsions and obsessions. And so that's really important to note. So ERP approaches groinal response in the same way that we do a lot of compulsions, which is non-engagement or non-engagement responses. So what we say is, first of all, and this is just an example, a pink elephant example, or let's do a pink dinosaur. If I say, here is a pink dinosaur, don't pay attention to it. Try not to notice this pink dinosaur. Try to not let this pink dinosaur capture your attention and mean something to you. You're going to continuously see this pink dinosaur. Okay. So the more you focus on groinal response, it tends to happen more. One, because you're paying more attention, and B, it's just a response to us trying to put so much focus on that area that we can notice every little thing. I mean, we're humans. We have blood running through us all the time. There are things that happen. But if your arm tingled, you wouldn't think much of it. But because it's in your groinal area, all of a sudden it's super important and you care about it and it means something when you have OCD sometimes. So we use non-engagement or response prevention. So for instance, let's use the same example from earlier. Maybe I'm out and I see a girl and I get a groinal response and I just let it be there. I don't try to figure out, are those related? I don't say, oh gosh, I need to try and get rid of this. I need to figure out why it's happening. I need to go back and think about what I was thinking about at the time that I saw the person. All these different sorts of compulsions that people do. We learn how to refrain from those and just let it be there. And just like any other intrusion, whether it's an intrusive thought or image or urge or feeling, such as groinal response. And we learn how to go on with our day and let it pass naturally with time without compulsing, so that our ERP can work effectively to help us habituate to the fears and doubts that we have around why we have groinal response, why is it happening, and all of the other things that might be going on. Now, I know this topic is taboo for a lot of people, but if you think it helped you, consider sharing it with a friend or family member so they can better understand this topic and how it impacts the OCD community. And if you think you might be experiencing OCD, head to NOCD.com to learn more about specialized treatment. It's important to know that our therapists at NOCD specialize in OCD assessment and treatment, and we truly understand things like groinal response and all of the different ways that OCD can show up, whether it's taboo or not. We know that it's just a part of OCD. We train our therapists to understand these types of nuances so that when people present to them, they understand and can help you feel comfortable. We even have at NOCD community support groups for our active members that discuss these topics very specifically. I run a couple different support groups every week where we actually talk about things just like this groinal response and a variety of what would be considered taboo OCD themes. Hope to see you there.